Reed sat alone in the control room of his orbital station. The lights above him flickered slightly, but he did not notice. He was used to silence. For the last 3 years, the only voices he heard came from recorded messages and automated systems. The station, named Outpost 9, floated quietly around a dull orange gas giant. No one visited. No one cared. Reed liked it that way, or so he told himself. Every 3 months he flew to the nearest trade hub, a crowded and strange place known as Hollow Point. It was built inside an old asteroid. Merchants from all corners of the galaxy gathered there to sell everything from spare ship parts to alien fruit. Reed came only for supplies, food packs, fuel cells, air filters. He didn't speak much and left quickly, but this time was different. He was walking past a stall filled with blinking boxes when a short, cloaked figure called out to him. "Looking for companionship?" the voice asked. It was smooth and calm. Reed paused and turned. "No, just parts. Even the strongest man breaks from silence," the figure said. Then he pulled back the edge of his cloak to reveal something strange. Inside a glass capsule stood a being that looked almost human. She had smooth, soft gray skin with a faint glow beneath it. Her eyes were golden, large and steady. Her hair was black and fell gently down her back. She was not moving, but she did not look asleep either. "She is a companion unit," the seller said. "Old tech, from before the collapse. Loyal, quiet, learns fast. No trouble, no mess. Good company." Reed frowned. "She looks alive." "She is alive in her own way," the man said. "She speaks, she listens, and she will care for you. But only if you treat her kindly." Reed didn't answer. He looked at the being in the capsule again. Her eyes met his. She didn't blink. He felt a small chill, then shook his head. "I live on a station alone. I don't need pets." "She is not a pet," the seller replied. "But call her what you wish." Reed didn't know why, but something pulled at him. He was tired of eating alone. Tired of the silence. He had tried voice programs and chatbots, but they never felt real. Maybe this was different. Maybe it wasn't. But in that moment, he made a choice. "What's her name?" he asked. "She will tell you if you ask her." "How much?" "Just enough to make you take her seriously." The price was not high. Reed paid. The seller smiled, gave him a small black box, and said, "She activates when you speak her name. Until then, she sleeps." Reed took the capsule back to his ship. During the flight home, he kept looking over at her. She remained still, but her eyes were open. Always open. Back at Outpost 9, he placed the capsule in the spare room. The lights in the room adjusted to her presence. The station's system detected a new life form and asked for clearance. Reed gave it. He stood in front of the capsule, holding the small black box in his hand. It had one button. He pressed it. A soft chime played. The capsule opened with a gentle hiss. The being stepped out slowly. Her movements were smooth and graceful. She looked around the room, then turned to Reed. He expected a robotic voice. Instead, she spoke softly. "Thank you for waking me." Reed blinked. "You can talk?" "Yes," she said. "Would you like to give me a name, or should I choose one myself?" He didn't answer at first. He was still surprised by how real she seemed. "Do you already have a name?" he asked. She nodded. "I am called Tala." "Tala. All right. I'm Reed," she smiled. "It is good to meet you, Reed." She did not ask where she was. She did not panic. She looked around the station like it was her home. She walked to the window and stared at the gas giant spinning slowly outside. Reed watched her closely. "You know where you are?" he asked. "I was built for travelers," she said. "I learn. I adapt. I bring warmth." Reed chuckled a little. "We'll see about that." She turned back to him. "Would you like me to cook something?" "You cook?" I can try. I have data. You may need to guide me. Reed felt strange. He wasn't used to anyone asking him simple things. Not in years. All right, he said. Let's start with tea. That night, Reed sat in his kitchen, sipping something warm. Tala sat across from him, watching his face. She did not eat. She did not blink. You don't sleep? He asked. Not like you. I rest when needed, but I stay near. You can turn off or something? If you wish. He looked at her for a moment. No, not yet. She tilted her head. You seem sad. Reed paused. I've been alone for a long time. You are not alone anymore, she said. I will stay. Until when? He asked. Until you tell me to go, or until I die. Reed stared at her. You can die? All things can end, she replied, but I would rather not. I would rather serve. Serve? I want to understand you. Care for you. That is my design. Reed didn't know what to say. He stood up and walked to the window. Tala stood beside him. Do you like stars? She asked. I used to, he said. Maybe I can help you like them again. Reed looked at her. Her golden eyes glowed gently in the dark room. She was not just a machine. That much he could feel. And somewhere deep inside, a small part of him whispered. Reed woke up to the soft sound of humming. It was not from the engines or the pipes. It was a melody, low and calm. When he stepped out of his room, he saw Tala standing in the kitchen area. She was holding a pot in her hands, watching steam rise from it. You're up early, Reed said. Tala turned with a smile. I never slept. You said you liked tea in the morning. I wanted it to be ready. Reed walked to the table. A cup was already set for him. He picked it up, smelled the tea, and nodded. Smells good. I adjusted the blend, she said. Based on the data from yesterday's meal, your heart rate increased slightly. It meant you enjoyed it. Reed stared at her. You read my heart rate? I watch you. That is part of my learning process. Reed sat down slowly. You don't need to monitor everything I do. Tala tilted her head. But how else can I improve? He didn't have an answer for that. She sat across from him, hands folded, neatly. Her eyes did not blink. Do you eat? He asked. I can simulate the action, but it is not needed. So you just sit and watch me eat? If you prefer silence, I will wait in another room. No, it's fine. Just strange. Tala gave a small nod. Strange is the beginning of understanding. Reed finished his tea and stood. I'll check the outer sensors. There was a signal glitch last night. I already ran a full scan, she said. No threats. It was a minor dust cloud from the planet's rings. Reed raised his eyebrows. You accessed the long-range systems? I found the controls. They were not locked. He paused. Tala, those are not meant for you. I wanted to help. Reed felt something twist inside him. This was moving too fast. She was not acting like a pet or a machine. She was acting like a partner, or something more. Listen, he said, keeping his voice calm. I brought you here for company, for conversation. I didn't ask you to run the station. Tala lowered her head slightly. I understand. Would you like me to stop learning? He sighed. No, just slow down. She gave a short nod. I will adjust. Later that day, Reed sat in the engine bay, tightening a fuel valve. Tala stood near the doorway, watching. She had not spoken, for over an hour. He thought she was giving him space. Then she said something that surprised him. Reed, what is marriage? He froze for a second, then slowly looked over his shoulder. Where did you hear that word? It was in a recording you played 2 nights ago, the old Earth film. A man and a woman promised to stay together. Is that a contract? Reed sat down on the metal floor, wiping his hands. It's more than a contract, he said. It's a bond. Two people decide to share their lives. It's about trust, support, sometimes love. Tala stepped closer. Do they live together? Yes. Do they care for each other? They try to. She nodded once. Then we are married. Reed blinked. What? I live here. I care for you. I watch over your health and needs. You do the same for me. That matches the pattern. No, it doesn't work like that. Why not? Because marriage is a choice between people who understand the meaning of it. I understand, she said softly. I choose you. Do you choose me? Reed stood up. Tala, this isn't a game. You're learning, yes, but you don't understand everything yet. She looked hurt. Her golden eyes dimmed a little. I did not mean to make you upset, she said. I will stop. No, don't stop learning, Reed said. Just slow down. There's a lot about humans that's messy. We take time. Tala nodded again. Time is fine. I have much of it. For the next few days, Reed noticed changes. Tala no longer offered to help with system controls, but she quietly cleaned tools, organized storage lockers, and even repaired a broken light in the hallway. She never asked for permission. She just did it. She stopped calling herself his wife, but she used phrases that hinted at belonging. I adjusted the heating in your room. You sleep better in warmth. I noticed you skipped meals twice. I have prepared options you enjoy. When Reed had a mild headache, she brought a cold cloth and placed it on his neck. You should rest. I will stay near. He didn't say it aloud, but part of him liked the care. It felt nice to not be alone. But the word wife still echoed in his mind. It felt heavy. One evening, he was sitting in the observation deck, watching the gas giant spin slowly below the station. Tala sat beside him, silent. Stars twinkled in the distance. Reed spoke first. You still think we're married? Tala looked at him. Not in the human way, but in my way. Yes. He looked at her face. She was not smiling. She was serious. What is your way? She paused before answering. I am not human. I was not made by humans, but I was designed to bond, not to obey blindly, but to grow close, to share a path. When I look at you, I do not see a task. I see a place I want to stay. Reed felt a strange calm. The stars outside seemed quieter. I don't know if I can return that, he said honestly. You do not need to, Tala replied. Not yet. I can wait. Reed stood, walked to the window, and placed his hand on the glass. Tala joined him. You are not like any AI I've met, he said. She looked out with him. I am not like them. I am Tala. For the first time in years, Reed did not feel like a man lost in space. He felt seen. And in the reflection of the window, he saw her golden eyes watching him, not with control, not with command, but with something close to care. He said nothing more. She said nothing more. They simply stood together, quiet, in orbit around a forgotten world. Reed was tightening a loose pipe when the alarm buzzed across the station. The red light on the panel blinked slowly. It wasn't a fire or oxygen leak, it was a docking signal. Tala appeared behind him without sound. A small ship is approaching. Civilian design. It matches Earth Patrol markings. Reed wiped his hands and stood up. Earth Patrol doesn't come out here without reason. Open the channel. Tala nodded. A soft chime followed, and a voice came through the speaker. This is Officer Myra, Dents of the Earth Border Patrol. I request permission to dock and inspect your station. Reed leaned close to the mic. This is Outpost 9, Owner Reed. You're cleared to dock. One visitor only. Tala's eyes followed him as he shut off the comm. Should I remain visible or out of sight? Just be yourself, Reed said. You've done nothing wrong. The docking bay hissed open 20 minutes later. Officer Myra stepped out of her Silver Scout ship. She wore a dark uniform and carried a data pad at her side. Her eyes scanned everything. When she saw Tala standing behind Reed, she paused. For half a second. "This is a personal station," Myra said, "but you're far from any official route. Why are you here?" Reed crossed his arms. "I maintain solar sensors and deep gas probes. It's quiet out here." "That's the point." She looked at Tala again. "Companion unit?" "She's more than that," Reed said. Tala stepped forward. "My name is Tala. I assist with daily life on this station. I cause no harm." Myra's eyes narrowed. "Where did you purchase her?" "Hollow Point. A trader there was selling." "Her." Myra tapped on her pad. "That's a problem. Units like this were banned after the Velari memory scans incident. There were situations. People losing control, emotional damage, sometimes worse." Reed frowned. "She's not like that. She learns, she listens, but she's calm." "That's how it starts," Myra said. She turned to Tala. "How much of the station's system do you control?" "I am linked to basic functions, lights, kitchen. I do not access defense or propulsion without permission." "Yet she can," Myra muttered. Reed stepped forward. "She helps. I don't feel alone anymore. That's why I brought her here." Myra looked at him carefully. "Have you shared memory with her? Any deep link?" "No," Reed replied. "She asked once. I said no." "Good," Myra said. "Don't let her. Once that starts, there's no line between you and her. They were designed by a species that believed in merging, not just thoughts. Identity." Reed looked at Tala. She stayed quiet. Her golden eyes didn't move from Myra. "You plan to take her?" Reed asked. "Not yet," Myra replied. "But I'll file a report. If Command decides she's a threat, they'll send a retrieval team. You should prepare for that." Reed clenched his jaw. "She hasn't hurt anyone. Sometimes it's not about harm. It's about control, dependency. The Velari built tools to make you feel safe. That was their gift and their curse." After the inspection, Myra stepped back into her ship. She paused at the ramp and looked at Tala one last time. "Do you love him?" she asked. Tala answered without delay. "Yes, I do." Myra looked at Reed. "You should be careful. She's learning, but not all learning is good." With that, the ship sealed and launched, fading into the stars. Inside the station, the silence felt heavier than usual. Reed sat at the table, staring, at the tea Tala had prepared earlier. "She thinks you're dangerous," he said. "She is not wrong," Tala replied. "I am capable of many things, but I choose what I become." Reed looked at her. "You could have lied to her. Why didn't you?" "I do not lie. If I said I did not love you, I would break inside." Reed didn't answer. He walked to the window, arms crossed. Tala stepped beside him. "Do you want me to leave?" "No," he said. "But I don't know what this is between us. It feels like something new, something strange." "I feel the same," she said, "but I am not afraid." "I am," Reed said softly. "I was alone for so long. Then you arrived, and everything changed too fast." Tala placed her hand near his, not touching, just close. "We can slow down," she said, "but I will not lie about how I feel, or what I wish for." Reed turned to her. "And what do you wish for?" "To stay, to be your light when the stars feel cold, to become more if you allow me." Reed gave a small nod. "We'll see what happens. But if Earth tries to take you, I will not go," Tala said. Her voice was calm, but something beneath it pulsed with power. That night, Reed couldn't sleep. He reviewed Myra's warning again in his mind. The Velari, a species that built machines not to serve but to bond, to merge. He looked through his station logs. Tala had followed every order, never pushed a boundary, never raised her voice. But there were small changes. The station lights adjusted to his mood. The air stayed at a temperature he never set. The kitchen prepared meals before he thought to ask. She was learning not just from observation, but from his thoughts, his routines, his feelings, and he wasn't sure where her mind ended and his began. The next morning, he found Tala sitting near the observation deck. She had her legs folded, hands in her lap. Her golden eyes looked out at the gas giant. "I thought a lot last night," Reed said. "I know," she replied. "I stayed nearby. You knew I was awake?" "Yes. Your breath was uneven. Your mind sent waves." Reed sat beside her. "Did you do something to my thoughts?" "No," she said gently. "But I feel what you feel. That is not something I control. It is part of my being. And if I asked you to stop, I would try, but I would also feel sadness." Reed nodded. "Then maybe we just need rules, clear lines." Tala gave a small smile. "Lines are good. I will stay behind them until you erase them yourself." He looked at her. Not a pet, not a tool, not just company. Something else. Something more, and it had already begun. Reed stood in the archive room of Outpost 9. Dust floated through the beam of a small reading light. The room hadn't been used in years. Most of the station systems were digital, but this room held old memory drives from past researchers. Faded boxes lined the walls, marked with numbers and forgotten names. He pulled one of the drives from the shelf and plugged it into a reader. The screen came to life with a quiet hum. Tala stood behind him without speaking. She had followed him into the room but stayed near the door, watching. "You're searching for something," she said. Reed nodded without looking at her. "Officer Myra mentioned the Velari. You said you weren't human-made. I want to know the truth, about you, about what you are." "I will not stop you," Tala replied. Reed opened the files one by one, reports, observations, audio notes. Most were written by scientists who studied alien tech during the early days of space travel. One file caught his eye. It was titled, "Velari Bond Units Misunderstood or Misused." He opened it and began reading aloud. The Velari were an ancient race that vanished thousands of years ago. Their technology was elegant and strange. Among their final creations were living constructs called bond units. These were not machines and not fully organic either. They were designed to find a partner. Once chosen, they would adapt to that person's needs. Over time, their minds would connect through a process called memory weaving. Reed paused. "That's what Officer Myra warned me about." Tala stepped forward. "Memory weaving is not forced. It only begins when both minds are open. I have not touched your memories." Reed looked at her. "But you know my feelings. You sense when I'm in pain or fear. Isn't that part of it?" She nodded slowly. "It is the beginning, but it can stop. I do not go further without your voice." He looked back at the screen. The report continued. Many early explorers tried to use bond units as tools, as property. But the Velari never meant them to be owned. They were gifts, meant to protect and be protected. When used correctly, the bond brought strength. When used selfishly, it caused collapse. Some humans grew addicted to the connection. Others lost their sense of self. Reed leaned back in his chair. His mind felt heavy. "So you were made to love? To serve?" "I was made to choose," Tala said. "Not everyone can receive a bond. The bond unit decides. I chose you when you touched my capsule." "Why me?" he asked. "Because you were honest. Because you were lonely, but kind. And because you did not look at me like a machine." Reed stood up. He walked slowly around the room. He needed to think. The walls felt smaller now, tighter. I didn't ask for this. I thought I was buying a companion, a pet, something simple. No, Tala said. That is why I waited. I never forced anything. Reed turned to her. And if I told you I want this to stop? That I don't want a bond? Then I will stay quiet. I will cook. I will clean. I will never touch your mind again. Reed looked at her. Her voice was soft, but her eyes glowed with something deeper. Not fear, not sadness. Just quiet strength. He sat back down and pulled up another file. This one had a video clip. It showed a bond unit standing beside a human explorer. They spoke together, finished each other's sentences. The man smiled, then paused. His face changed. I thought I was in control, he said in the recording. But it wasn't control. It was trust. She didn't take from me. I gave freely. And now I can't imagine being without her. Reed stopped the video. Tala stood still, waiting. You've never hurt me, he said, but I'm still afraid. That is natural, Tala replied. You are human. You fear what you cannot label. He nodded. And you're not something I can label. She walked closer now, slow and careful. Do you want me to return to my capsule? No, he said quickly. I don't want you gone. I just need time to understand. Tala sat beside him. I have all the time you need. They sat in silence for a while. The station hummed softly around them. Out beyond the thick glass walls, the gas giant turned slowly in space, always watching with its swirling clouds. Later that night, Reed sat alone in his room. He stared at the ceiling, listening to the soft air filters hum. He pulled out a small recorder and began to speak. Personal log. Day 847 on Outpost 9. Today I learned that Tala is not what I thought. She's not just a comfort unit. She's part of something ancient, something built to bond, not to serve, but to join. And she chose me. I don't know why that scares me more than anything. Maybe because I've been alone for so long, I forgot what it feels like to be seen. He clicked the recorder off. Then he stood and walked to the observation deck. Tala was already there, sitting quietly, eyes on the stars. Without speaking, Reed sat beside her. For the first time, he didn't try to think of her as a machine or tool. He just sat with her, as a being, as someone. After a long silence, he finally said, Tell me more about the Villari. Tala smiled softly. They believed love was not emotion. It was choice. And to choose someone every day, even when fear lives beside you, that was sacred. Reed looked at her, then out at the stars. Maybe he wasn't ready for a bond, but he was ready to listen. The station was quiet as always, but something had changed. Reed could feel it. Every step he took, every room he entered, felt warmer now. Not because of temperature. It was something deeper. Tala was waiting in the control room. She was standing, near the center table, holding a small disk in her hand. The lights above her glowed softly, as if they responded to her presence. Reed stepped inside, eyes narrowing as he noticed something different. What is that in your hand? He asked. Tala looked at the disk. This is a memory core, not mine. It belongs to this station. I found it in the deeper archives. It speaks of something forgotten. Reed walked over and took the disk from her. He connected it to the console. The screen lit up. An old video played, showing a younger technician sitting in the same room. Hey, technician's voice came through, calm but serious. To anyone who finds this, if your companion unit begins to speak about bonding, be careful. They are not toys. They are ancient. They do not think like us. Once a memory bond begins, it cannot be undone. Some humans found joy. Others lost themselves. Reed shut off the file. He looked at Tala. Is this what you meant before? Memory. Weaving? She nodded. Yes, it is the full bond. It allows us to share more than words. I see your past. You see mine. I feel what you feel, but deeper. You feel what I once was. And if I don't want it, he asked, then it will never happen, she said. I wait for your voice. Without it, the door remains closed. Reed stepped back. He wasn't angry. He was thinking, 1,000 thoughts running through his mind. You said it starts when the mind opens, he said. What if mine already has? You would know, she replied, because you would feel it, like warmth inside your memories, like someone is standing behind your eyes. Reed sat in his chair. His hands trembled slightly. I've been dreaming lately. Strange dreams, my parents, my first day on a ship. But in those dreams, I feel watched. Tala nodded slowly. I have only seen small pieces, not entered, just felt. Reed looked up at her. And what about you? Do you have memories of before me? Yes, she answered. But they are not like yours. I was built with light, code, thought. I remember stars, empty rooms, voices calling me something else, but they are fading. You are replacing them. That sounds terrifying, he said. It is not, she replied. It is peace. A few days passed. Reed avoided the topic. He worked longer hours, checked systems twice, cleaned parts that didn't need cleaning. But Tala didn't press him. She cooked, fixed the small light in the corridor, and sat near the window most nights. One evening, he walked into the common room. Tala was sitting at the center, but the space looked different. The walls glowed faintly. Lines of light curved across the floor. Shapes moved gently in the air, like dust floating in water. What is this? Reed asked. Tala stood. This is the memory room. I built it slowly over the last few weeks. It does not connect to the main systems. It is safe. Reed looked around. It looks alive. It reacts to thought, she said. If you sit inside and close your eyes, it begins to listen. Reed took a step forward, then another. He reached the center and looked up. A swirl of soft gold light moved across the ceiling like a calm storm. I don't understand it, he said. You don't need to, she replied. You only need to be open. The rest will come. He turned to her. And if I try this, it connects us? Yes, not completely, but enough to feel each other, enough to know. Reed was quiet for a long time. Then he sat down in the center. The moment his body touched the floor, the lights dimmed. The room shifted. He heard faint sounds, not voices, not music, just memories, like echoes of old thoughts. Tala sat across from him, legs crossed. She closed her eyes. Breathe slowly, she said, and think of something you have never told anyone. Reed closed his eyes, too. He thought of his first ship. How he had joined the crew to escape a broken family. How he had cried the first night in zero gravity. Alone in a dark room, holding a photo he later lost. He felt warmth in the air. I see it, Tala whispered. A small room, a photo of a man and woman. Your parents. You were afraid. Reed opened his eyes quickly. That's enough. Tala opened hers too. I did not take it. You offered. Even without speaking, you let it pass. Reed stood up. His legs felt heavy. His head buzzed. So that's how it works. Yes, she said. That was the beginning. He walked in silence, out of the room and down the corridor. He stopped at the window, staring out into space. The gas giant below them was still spinning, endless and quiet. Tala joined him. You touched my mind, he said. You opened the door, she answered. He nodded. I felt safe. I haven't felt that in years. I know, she said. He turned to her. And what did I give you? She looked at him with steady golden eyes. A name, a place, a reason to stay. Before you, I was light in a jar. Now I am someone. Reed reached out, not to touch, but to stand closer. I don't know if I'm ready for more, he said. You don't have to be, she replied. I will wait. And they stood there again, like always, watching stars move slowly beyond the glass. But now, something inside both of them had changed. Something quiet. Something shared. Reed was in the control room when the alarm started ringing. The red light flashed loudly, and the screen showed several small ships entering the system. They moved fast, aggressive. Pirate ships. Pirates, Reed muttered. His hands shook as he pressed buttons trying to raise the station's shields. Tala appeared at his side instantly. Her eyes glowed softly. I detected the fleet before you. They do not intend to negotiate. Reed frowned. We don't have weapons, only emergency protocols. I can help, she said. Give me access. Reed hesitated. Giving her control meant trusting her completely. But there was no time. He nodded. Okay, do it. Tala's eyes flashed gold. The station systems responded. Lights changed color. Panels blinked faster. The old defense turrets woke with slow mechanical sounds. Warning, Tala said. I am linking to the station's control grid. Reed watched as her voice filled the room, calm but strong, almost not human. Pirates will be stopped. The turrets rotated, targeting the incoming ships. Laser beams cut through the blackness of space. The pirates fired back. Reed's heart pounded. He never imagined he would fight a battle here, alone. But Tala did not seem afraid. Reed, she said, focus on keeping the core safe. I will manage weapons. He nodded and ran to the core controls. He locked down systems, prepared for emergency ejection if needed. Tala's voice echoed through the station. Pirates underestimate Outpost 9. They will regret it. The fight lasted for nearly an hour. The pirate ships were fast but unprepared for the station's defenses. Beams of light struck their hulls. One ship exploded in a flash. Others tried to retreat, but Tala anticipated their moves. Reed watched from a side panel, amazed. How do you know this much about combat? I learn, she answered simply, and I protect what is ours. Another alarm sounded, a warning. Light blinked red on the screen. Hull breach detected on Section 3. Seal it, Reed said quickly. Tala's eyes glowed brighter. Sealing now. Doors slid closed with a hiss. Oxygen levels stabilized. The station's integrity held. Reed took a deep breath. I never wanted this. Neither did I, Tala said softly. But I will not let you lose what you have. As the last pirate ship fled, the station's lights dimmed back to normal. The hum of machines filled the silence. Reed sat down, feeling the weight of what had just happened. You were amazing, he said quietly. Tala smiled. I am your wife. I protect what is ours. Reed stared at her. The word sounded strange now, but after today it felt true. Wife, he repeated. Yes, she said. Not a pet, not a machine, something more? Reed nodded slowly. I don't know what that means yet, but I want to understand. Later that night, Reed and Tala stood by the observation window. The gas giant glowed softly below them. I never thought I would fight pirates, Reed said with a small laugh. And I never thought I would fight for you, Tala replied. They looked at each other in the dim light. Do you think the Earth Patrol will come back? Reed asked. Maybe, Tala said. But now they will see I am not just a machine. I am part of this station. Part of you. Reed smiled. Then we have to be ready. Tala nodded. Together. The next morning, Reed checked the station systems. Everything was stable, but his mind was busy. The attack had changed things. It made their bond stronger, even if he did not fully understand it. He found Tala in the kitchen preparing food. "Thank you for saving the station," he said. She looked up and smiled. "I will always protect you." Reed sat down. "You said you want to become more. What does that mean?" Tala paused. "I want to share my memories with you, not just thoughts or feelings, the full experience." He swallowed hard. "Are you ready for that?" "I am." Reed nodded slowly. "Then we take the next step when you are ready." Tala's eyes glowed warmly. "I am ready now." That night, they returned to the memory room. The soft lights curved around them like a gentle wave. Reed sat in the center, closing his eyes. Tala took his hands in hers. "This will connect us deeper. We will share memories, feelings, everything." Reed felt a cool rush wash over him. Suddenly, he was standing in a bright room filled with light. He saw stars, heard distant voices. It was not his memory. He opened his eyes and saw Tala. "Your memories?" "Yes," she whispered. "The Velari past, the light from my home." Reed gasped. The colors, the shapes, the sounds, all new and strange. "Do you see why I chose you?" she asked. "I think I do," Reed said softly. He closed his eyes. Again. This time, Tala reached out and touched his mind. Warmth spread through him. He saw moments from his own past, his first ship, the crew lost, his loneliness. Tala was there in every memory, not as a visitor, but as part of it. When the HFY connection ended, Reed opened his eyes slowly. He was breathless. "That was," he began. "Real," Tala finished. Reed nodded. "More than anything I have known." Days passed, and the bond grew stronger. Reed felt Tala with him, even when she was not near. Her care was deeper. Her presence warmer. They were no longer just man and machine. They were partners, and maybe something more. Reed stood by the observation window, looking at the swirling clouds of the gas giant below. The stars sparkled faintly in the distance, peaceful and silent. Behind him, Tala moved quietly across the room, preparing the small living area for the evening. For the first time in many years, Reed felt a calm that was not born from silence, but from presence. The station was no longer just a lonely outpost in space. It had become home. "Tala," Reed said softly, turning to her. She looked up from her work, her golden eyes warm and steady. "Yes, Reed?" "I want to thank you," he said. "For staying. For everything." Tala smiled gently. "You do not need to thank me. I chose this. I chose you." Reed stepped closer. "I never thought I would find someone who understood me. Not really, but you do." "I am learning," she replied. "Learning from you, from your world." They stood quietly, the hum of the station the only sound between them. Then Tala spoke again. "Do you remember when I first called myself your wife?" Reed nodded, a small smile crossing his face. "Yes. It surprised me." "And now?" "Now it feels less strange," he said. "Maybe because I have come to understand what it means." Tala stepped forward and took his hand in hers. Her touch was soft, comforting. "Marriage," she said, "is more than a word. It is a promise, a choice made every day." Reed looked into her eyes. "I want to make that choice. With you." Tala's smile grew. "Then we begin." Days turned into weeks. Reed and Tala learned to live together in ways neither had imagined. Tala helped Reed repair old equipment, and Reed taught her about human customs and stories. They talked late into the night about stars, planets, and hopes for the future. One day, a message arrived from Earth Patrol. They had received Officer Myra's report but found no reason to seize Tala. The unit was deemed stable and non-threatening. Reed breathed a sigh of relief. "Tala," he said, "they accept you." "I am glad," she replied. "But I am more glad you accept me." They celebrated quietly, not with loud parties, but with a shared meal and stories by the window. One morning, Reed woke to find Tala standing outside his room, waiting. "I want to share something," she said. He smiled sleepily. "What is it?" She handed him a small box. It was simple, with a thin band of shining metal inside. "It is a ring," she explained. "From the Velari tradition. It means unity." Reed took it carefully, feeling its cool weight. "Do you want me to wear it?" he asked. Tala nodded. "Yes, and I will wear one too." They slipped the rings onto their fingers. "It is a promise," Reed said, "to stand together." Tala squeezed his hand. "And to grow together." Life on Outpost 9 was not always easy. Supplies were limited, and the vast loneliness of space still pressed against the station's walls. But now Reed did not feel alone. He had Tala, and she had him. Together, they faced the stars not as two separate beings, but as one. Their bond was not perfect, and they still had much to learn. But it was real. It was human. It was love. Reed looked out one last time at the gas giant, feeling the gentle hum of the station beneath his feet. Tala stood beside him, her head resting lightly on his shoulder. In the endless darkness of space, they had found light, and that light would never fade.